10 essential life lessons you won't learn in school, unveil them now. Education is what remains after one has forgotten what one has learned in school. This is a quote by Albert Einstein. It's quite interesting. One of the greatest geniuses in history suggests that what is learned in school might not be the ultimate key to success. Considering Einstein's genius, it's worth considering whether this statement is true. Knowledge of the complex functioning of stomata may be necessary to understand certain aspects of climate change or to pursue a career in biology. However, such knowledge is not useful for filing taxes. Dear viewers, if you enjoyed our video and want to help us grow, we ask you to consider the idea of subscribing to our channel and making a donation to support us. Your support is essential for us and will allow us to continue creating interesting and useful content for you. You can do it here below, through the appropriate buttons, subscribe, and thanks. And the taxman will not ignore anyone, regardless of who they are, for lack of tax knowledge. So, what are the important life lessons that are missing from formal education? What should one learn through life experiences and not from textbooks? That's what we'll talk about today. For those who are still in school, this will give them a chance to know the reality outside of the classrooms. For those who have finished school, it will be an opportunity to reflect on how much practical wisdom they have gained. Perspective is important. Schools often present life through a single lens and rarely encourage different viewpoints. They teach the atrocities of Hitler, rightly condemn him, and portray him as the embodiment of evil. However, an examination of the complexity of history reveals that even the so-called good guys, such as the Allies, engaged in morally questionable behavior. The Allies were the first to use nuclear weapons and had a significant impact on subsequent wars. Lessons learned: schools often present one-sided views. In real life, managing friendships, work, and relationships requires a multifaceted understanding. Imagine a scenario where your partner misses a date. Naturally, you will feel frustrated, but recognizing that there might be a legitimate reason and listening to your partner's perspective, your resentment might lessen. There will be situations where your perspective is important for your personal growth, but understanding others' perspectives and engaging in frank discussions to meet everyone's needs will promote smoother relationships and reduce egocentrism. This leads to the next important lesson. It's not all about you. Have you ever talked to someone who only talks about themselves? It's very tiring, isn't it? When you meet someone who doesn't realize that the world doesn't revolve around them, they are often an unpleasant companion when dining, partying, or relaxing. We all live our lives from our perspective, and we tend to think that everything around us concerns us. However, others' experiences are just as valid. If your partner seems angry and you're not sure why, don't immediately think it's because of something you did. Maybe something their boss said deeply hurt them. Personal behavior can influence the other's mood, but don't fall into the trap of thinking that everything revolves around you. Egocentric bias can lead to overthinking situations and believing that every word spoken is about you. Psychologists emphasize that this behavior stems from the attempt to create a coherent life story in which everything revolves around you. However, this type of thinking creates an unhealthy obsession and leads to believing that all attention is focused on oneself. Try to radically change to free yourself. If you're usually the loudest person in the room, try being quiet for a few days. People may notice at first, but eventually, they will start focusing on their own lives. Everyone has their own concerns, so avoid becoming the main topic of others' lives. Now that we've shifted the focus away from ourselves, let's explore another important lesson. The importance of true friendship. There is no treasure more precious in life than true friendship. This precious lesson tends to elude us, especially in the pursuit of academic excellence. True friendship adds a vibrant color to the canvas of life. Imagine being alone, drinking cheap alcohol, and complaining about political issues. Sharing all of this with a friend will make you feel very different. The absence of friends casts a dark shadow on the daily events of life, making them gloomy and heavy. In the midst of life's difficulties, the absence of good friends increases this weight. On the other hand, with a few loyal friends, the difficulties of life become more manageable. Victories are sweeter and failures less catastrophic. Life is a series of experiences, and having friends to share joys and sorrows with is a unique advantage. This brings us to the next lesson. Your happiness is in your hands. The presence of good friends enriches the soul, but you are entirely responsible for your own happiness. Believing that others can bring you joy is an effective method. It's effective to believe that others can give you joy. To define your happiness, you must understand what truly makes you happy and actively pursue it. If you give others the power to determine your happiness, it's more likely that you'll be influenced by their behavior, which leads to dependency and low self-esteem. In an ideal scenario, you are the one directing your happiness, determining its parameters and duration, and not subject to external influences. Your profession does not define you. Emphasis is placed on academic excellence and a lucrative profession. Although a well-paying job and its prestige are commendable goals, prioritizing passion and enthusiasm for work goes beyond the simple title and material gain. Choosing a career that ignites passion goes beyond society's expectations. If you give in to external pressures, you might find yourself in a career that you hate, and the rewards for your hours of work will be less precious. Embrace independence. Independence is not just a national celebration, but a powerful state of mind. Schools give us knowledge, but they cannot convey the liberating essence of autonomy. The education system promotes dependency and emphasizes routine learning rather than critical thinking. Real-life experience develops autonomy and the ability to question, make decisions, and understand the consequences of such choices. It's worth taking risks. The fear of failing in the academic world makes people wary of the possibility of being held back or suspended. In life, however, one can learn a very different lesson. Starting a tech startup from a college dormitory is an example of this approach. The absence of losses allows us to explore our opportunities and passions without fear. Cooperation instead of competition. Primary education celebrates competition and rewards individual achievements. Life, however, emphasizes the importance of cooperation. Recognizing one's strengths and asking others for help with different skills increases collective success and integrates individual abilities. Prioritize rest and nutrition. Unlike school norms that encourage overcoming tiredness and anxiety, true productivity comes from adequate rest and proper nutrition. Rest revitalizes the mind and makes it much more productive than forcing it to recover from tiredness. The injustice of life. Life does not do justice and distributes unjust privileges. Diligent efforts are not always rewarded, and the adage that hard work guarantees success is turned upside down. Unexpected circumstances and the unpredictability of life can create inequalities among individuals. Accepting the unpredictability of life despite its injustice is an important life lesson. Often neglected in traditional education, these important life lessons are fundamental in shaping our opinions and experiences. What other life lessons do you think should be taught beyond formal education? Comment anyway to let us know how we can do better. Your like would make us happy. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next video.